In this video, I make it 3 wide in Daily Race A. Daily Race B, we see some huge crashes as we pretend to be World Tour finalists. And in Daily Race C, there's even more big crashes as we race the track for the second time ever. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2025, week 23, and my word, we've got an interesting week this week. Some brand new combos. We've even used a track we have never raced at all in Gran Turismo 7, so it's a great week already. First up in the background, it is a circuit we have visited many times. It's Trail Mountain. Now we are doing 3 laps at Trail Mountain. It's a grid start. We're on comfort medium tyres and we're in the AE86. Now there are 2 variants you can pick from. I'm in the Sprinter, which has pop-up headlights. Why would you pick anything else? Because pop-up headlights are a guaranteed win. Now, some of you will definitely not like this car. It's a very weighty car. Weight transfer is huge. However, some of you will like this because it's quite memorable in terms of a car. If you don't like this, there are some time steps there to jump to Daily Race B or Race C, respectively. However, we are going to do Race A like we always do. Now, in terms of Trail Mountain, we've visited this track 15 times as of this point. We've never done this track car combo, so it's like the top 10 used combos. We last used it on the 3rd of March. In terms of issues, this car, as I've already said, is quite weighty, so expect some weird oversteer in there. Also, some weird understeer at times. You do have to overturn this car. And it's a very long lap, 2.5 minutes to do this lap, so some of you may get a little bit bored halfway round. Without further ado then, let's jump into this race. Let's have a look at exactly what happens, and I'll give you a lap guide to tell you how to do this track that little bit better. Here we are then at the start of this one, and Grobnikan is in P1 there in the Corolla rather than the Sprinter. Everybody else looks like they are in the Sprinter. I put traction control on 1 for this grid start. I'm also going to pop up those headlights because why wouldn't you? And we kick off here, foot to the floor, no penalty there. We go to 2nd gear and then we're going to turn traction control off because we don't really need that in this car. However, if you do need it, use it. You know, it's there to be used. You know, if you feel like people are going to like say, oh, why are you using that? Don't care, don't listen to them. If it helps you, just use it. Right, head towards turn 1, then we're right behind Shadow here as we go into here. We just lift up a little bit to give us a little bit of space there. The Greek Manos there towards the right side. Looks like they went wide in towards turn 1. We're going to try around the outside of Shadow now through this left-hander. Can we get it done? Yes, we can. We get a good run here. We're going to go towards the left-hand side of them and Ugandan as we go into here, making 2 positions in 1 corner. Can we do this? Through the left-hander we go. Some good racing to kick off here with Daily Race A. As we head down towards the right-hander, they're 4 wide behind. Look at that in the rear-view mirror. My word, I did not see that at the time. We go through here, though. Ugandan on the inside, going to keep that position. However, we did benefit from all of that. We have gained 2 positions here as we look ahead then, and we chuck it into this right-hander. And you can see how weighty these cars are. Look how much they lean as you go through these corners. Honestly, it's absolutely massive. You really do have to control this to get the best out of the car. Through here, though, we put our foot to the floor. Norman there just gets the corner slightly wrong, so we get a good run here on Norman. We go towards the left-hand side then as we get alongside. However, there's one thing that's an issue here, and that's slipstream. Because we're not in it there, we do lose out. Norman maintains position then as we head to what is effectively a banky boy here at Trail Mountain. As we go into here, then we're getting on the inside of the circuit. Looking to accelerate out then. We get on the inside of Norman. Are we going to get that position? It looks like we do get that position from Norman. So we do get another one. We're up into P6 then as we head up the hill there. Just giving Norman a little bit of space on that right-hand side. But we do get ahead hard on the brakes now. And that is a really good livery up ahead by Sangerman there. And it looks really nice indeed. But we're in P6 right now. We're going to fast forward a little bit here to get towards the action once again as we head towards the chicane, then hard on the brakes here then. Very easy to get this one wrong right at the start. It looks like somebody has got it wrong. Consta's out wide there, not sure whether he was tapped or not. Oh, the pole stitcher there off towards the left-hand side as we go through here then. We're going to get a run on that red car. Unfortunately, we just clipped the barrier a little bit, but we come back on. They do give me a bit of room there. The Grobnikan, the pole sitter, takes that penalty and we gain 2 positions and we're up into P4 right now, and P3 has just gone there. Uganda Commander were racing them earlier on. We go through this left-hander there, and trap limits do appear on that right-hander because I cut it massively. So it's fair enough on that trap limit. I did do all 4 wheels off, and it's 0.5 seconds. But penalties, they're not really that big. However, we will see how big of an impact that is. You can see I've absolutely pulled away from the cars behind. I'm right behind Ugandan Commando and Consta here. German Kiwi just in a distance as well. But I'm not really going to want to fight Ugandan here because I've got the penalty. It's better to bump draft Ugandan allow me to just maintain some speed here, and that way I'm not going to get overtaken from behind. Well, that is the theory behind it. As we go to this left-hander, though, Ugandan goes a little bit deep there. We go towards the left-hand side. We're going to go towards the right now, short shift into third gear, and allow the car to straighten up. Again, we're staying behind Ugandan right now. We're going to go for the bump draft a little bit here. There we go, and then we hit the brakes, and then we carry on. The game does the braking for you if you've ever wondered with the penalty. Let's fast forward a bit later on then. This is the final lap. Ugandan now has a track limit penalty as we go into this left-hander. Goes a bit wide there through here as we continue on out. We're going to be side by side. Now you're probably going, Tidge, why are you racing? I actually didn't want to race, but hey, it's always fun to have a race at the end. Shadow is 1.9 seconds behind, so we can have a bit of fun here with Ugandan as we go into this right-hander. Hard on the brakes, and as we go through this right-hander. Notice that I get a better line. It allows me to go through this corner that little bit better, but Ugandan defends that very nicely indeed. I'm not fighting too much here because I don't want to lose too much time as we go into the left-hander. And I was on for a faster slap as well as we go through this left-hander then and continue on the inside there. Ayana is getting on the action behind me as we continue towards the final part of this lap. Then Ugandan up ahead, and I'm going to fall in behind now. There's no need to send it down that inside because that will just cost us both too much time, especially with Shadow coming in that rear view. So we go towards the left-hand side, going for the nice runner through this right-hander, cutting a lot of the inside there and make sure we don't hit the barrier on the exit. So Uganda's going to take that penalty there. We're going to go towards the right-hand side. It's going to give me a friendly beat there as I go by, and we'll fast forward towards the end, and that is me coming home in P3. I'm on a podium. Happy days indeed. Now in terms of scores on the doors, it's 7 out of 10. I think this is quite a good race, to be honest with you. You can have some good racing there. It gives you time to think about the car as well. The only issue I would say is the oversteer, but hey, it is what it is. And all the details of the scoring system is down below. So as you head towards turn number 1, here is the lap guide. You've got 2 yellow tents on the left-hand side, or gazebos actually. We'll call them gazebos. Now, the end of the gazebo is basically your signal to start turning in towards the corner. And you will lift slowly but surely, but you want to stay a little bit on throttle, okay? So watch what I do right now. So as I go into it, notice that I'm a little bit on throttle. That keeps the car a little bit stable. As we go towards this right-hander, we lift off a little bit again, then accelerate. And then as we go towards this left, we're going to lift off again a little bit, staying on throttle just that tiny bit, and then accelerate through the corner. Excuse me. On the right side there, we've got the yellow going into Armco. That is our next marker on the right hand side. So as that leaves your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. I want to keep a wide line initially and sort of trail brake in towards the apex. That's what I like to do with this car. I feel it benefits it because it's a slow car as well. You want to maximize the speed as you go into it. So I'm trail braking, let the car roll a little bit, get to 60 miles an hour, instantly on the pedal there, and I can continue on through without an issue. Head over towards the left hand side then, and on that left hand side, we have a big rock there. Look at the size of that thing. Now that is our brake marker for this right-hander. You'll notice some of the top replays, because I had a quick gander myself. I'll drop into second gear for this corner. I don't think there's any necessity to. I think third gear is absolutely fine. So just hit the brakes, and as you release them, just make sure you're turning into the corner and the car should rotate. So as I release them there, notice the car rotates nicely. We go on the throttle there just before it goes below 50 miles an hour, and we continue on out of that corner. Over towards the left-hand side then, and for this right-hander, I have put the end of the curb as a marker, but it's not a braking marker. It's a lift-off marker and turn-in marker. So notice, I've just come off the throttle a little bit here. As I chuck this car in, it's going to want to oversteer a little bit, but because I'm not hitting the brakes, there's not too much weight transfer. Watch what I do right now as I go into this corner. I completely lift off, let the car roll. It's slowing it down itself with the friction of the tyres. Over towards the right-hand side now, and as we go in towards this left, once again, I'm doing the same thing. Lift off, let the car roll, and as we go into the dip of the corner, we then accelerate. There's no marker inside the tunnel. It's all about just maintaining that speed, letting the car do its own thing there, because it will slow itself down. So we're fast forwarding all the way towards the Banky Boy of Trial Mountain, and on the right side there, we have a big yellow sign with a left arrow. And that is our brake marker. But normally we brake at it, we're braking before it this time. And the reason for that is because this car's brakes are pretty rubbish in the grand scheme of it. So if we brake a little bit earlier, you want to aim towards the corner a little bit so that you can maintain an inside line. So if you go too wide here, it's going to cost you loads. So the big rock there, that is your accelerating marker. I actually delay my throttle a little bit on this particular lap. I feel that probably cost me a little bit of time, but even so, that is my accelerating marker. So once that goes off my screen, I know I should start accelerating. Let me show you how to do that. So as we continue on through, there we go. It's left my screen. I then start to accelerate. But notice that I don't use all of the circuits. So there's a little bit more in there. You want to straighten up as quick as you can here as we go up the hill. So over towards the right-hand side, we're staying in third gear right now. And we stay in third gear all the way to the braking marker, which is that big old tree trunk right there. Although the tree has unfortunately gone. So as you go into here, you're going to brake in a straight line. If you remotely turn as you hit the brakes, your car's going to steer left or right, depending on which way you're turning and the weight is transitioning. So brake in a straight line, we release the brakes, then turn into the corner. We use all of the curb on the inside and accelerate out. You may experience some touches, glimpses of walls there in this car. So as we go towards the next corner, again, similar to Banky Boy on this particular circuit, you're going to brake a bit earlier than normal. So we normally brake at the end of the second rock, but we're braking at the start of the first rock this time. This is so we can get turned in on the inside. Let me show you how this is done there. Hit the brakes, turned in. We don't want to get on the inside as much as we can. We lost a little bit of time there because we didn't get all the way in, but even so, we can accelerate out the corner and now think about the chicane. Now, chicane has an interesting brake marker because it's one I don't normally use, but it is there to use. So I'm going to stop it here first of all. So you see that tree right there? It's sort of like the next row of trees, and it's the first one. As that gets to the top right corner of your screen, you're going to hit the brake. So you're not braking now, you're braking when it gets a bit further along. So you're braking here. Notice that I've just gone to chase cam just so you can see it. The tree is fully at the top right side of the corner. You hit the brakes right, and you're going to drop to second gear. You really want to cut the inside. You want to stay as far left as possible to give you the best line through this right. So as we go into here, we lift off a little bit. We go to third gear. The change of gear there helps the car rotate a little bit more. We don't hit the barrier because that will cost you time. We head towards the line, and you can follow this lap on the leaderboard. It's a 2:29.541. That's it for Daily Race A. Let's jump to Daily Race B, where we are doing the same combo as the time trial. So it's Tokyo South counterclockwise in selected Group 3 cars. And you can see that right there on the old graphics. Key thing to note here, reward increased by 1,000%. So you get a lot of money here. So I can imagine this has been very popular this week. Rolling start, racing soft tyres. And of course, the Supra is arguably the strongest car here. Now, this circuit we have never used. We've never used this car. It's all blanks because we've never used this before. So happy days. Well played, Gran Turismo. In terms of issues, it's a very tight circuit, so do expect some crashes. And strong slipstream does mean some dives in certain places. If you ever watched the World Finals in Monaco 2020, you'll see I sent it in places there as well, including in docks, where I made it 3 wide at one point. Absolutely insane. I know I go on about it, but it's one of my best moves I ever did at a live event. Without further ado, though, let's jump into this one and let's have a look at all the crashes and all the action that is bound to happen. Here we are then at the start of the next one. We've got Supra in pole. We've got the Lexus up there as well. The Lexus did look quite strong, in my opinion. We kick off with the rolling start, and if you have enjoyed this video so far, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content as we head towards turn number 1, then behind Shadow up ahead. I'm driving this car the exact same as the time trial, even though we've got a bit of wind there now. So we get alongside Shadow here as we head down towards the dock area, and we're going to be side by side here. Not quite 3 wide though, as we head up this section. So Slipstream is helping us along here. We're right behind Ugandan Commando in the grand scheme of it, so we're going to hit the brakes and as we go into this right-hander. Up ahead, what you're going to see is cars absolutely everywhere there. We'll look at that in the bloopers, of course, because we do have the bloopers at the very end, where we just have a look at some of the incidents, what happened, getting to understand what happened and seeing where improvements can be made here. So we're side by side up ahead with Norman and Shadow. We're stuck behind them right now as we go through this right-hander. Now, when you go side by side through here, I always expect a barrier hit there. Unfortunately, Shadow is the one that does that. Max Power give me a bit of boost behind, so I'm going to make sure Max Power keeps that slipstream as well for that helping hand. So I'm staying towards the right-hand side a little bit here, just so Max Power can have that increase in speed. There you go, Max Power. I hope you appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the bump draft. So we catch up to Norman very quickly here. So I've got nowhere to go right now, but I thought, you know what? It's time to reenact that move in 2019. It wasn't 2020, the World Finals. It's 2019, you plebtage. But I go down the inside, exactly what I did here. We get the car stopped as we go through here. Max Power's on my outside. Norman's dropped back there, so backed out of this completely. Max Power on my left-hand side gets the job done here. Look at that beautiful move by Max Power. He's going to get the 0.5 penalty there, though. That'll be for track limits at the dock section. So as we go through here, Max Power decides to hit a barrier there as well, if you caught that on the fast forward. But we're going to go alongside Max Power here, and we'll get another position. We're up into P9 right now. Fast forward a little bit then, so this is lap number 2 at the dock section here. You see action up ahead, and somebody else has gone into the barrier this time, so we gain another spot there. And once again, that will be in the bloopers as we continue on through here. I do love this dock section. It's such a nice combo, this. I really do like this Tokyo layout, actually. It's one of, if not the favourite combo, irrespective of my experiences. I think it's really good in terms of a Tokyo track. Through the right we go then. Ice Taylor there just clips the barrier. You'll notice here the server's having a few issues. It definitely had issues this morning on race C and race B. We start off with race C, of course. We do race B and we finish on race A. I know you watch this the opposite way round as we continue on through here then. And we're going to head towards the hairpin here. Hard on the brakes around that 150 board then. Here we go. Oh, nearly into the back of the Lexus. We all slow it down though very nicely indeed. This is where a lot of the action is going to take place. We've got Ice Taylor on our left hand side. We give just enough room there for that Toyota Supra as we continue on out of here. here. We've got Spacco there. Oh my word, I can't believe I said that. But that's their name. You can see it on screen. They've got a 0.5-second penalty as we go through the right-hander. And there's a bit of contact there between the German and the Italian as we go into the left. Then we're still on the outside of Ice Taylor. Into the barrier we go, though. We couldn't really do anything there. Just understeer because we are offline there as we go into the final corner. So we will overtake the Italian, whose name I'm not going to pronounce again as we continue through here, because they'll get a 0.5-second penalty. It's quite a brutal penalty line, that, to be honest with you, because they were half a second ahead, and now they're going to drop massively behind, and they're in all the action, and they've lost multiple spots then. So through the left we go. We're going to continue on out, and now I just understeer a little bit. It just didn't rotate as much as I was expecting it to. It did confuse me. You can see me shake my head there. As I say, I was confused. Now, there's nowhere to go for the Italian behind, so they give me a bit of a bum draft there. Marasonic very close to me on the left-hand side in a Lexus as we head once again to the dock side by side. So this and the hairpin are the two main action points on this circuit as we slow the car down, clipping the inside. A tight line here for me is the better line, in my opinion, as we continue on through here. Oh, Marasonic got a little bit of oversteer. We managed to maintain position. Through we go, and we are up into P7 then. And once again, the German in a Lexus up ahead. What can we do versus them? Let's see which car has a bit... Oh, I say which one has the stronger straight line speed, but the Lexus, of course, because I've hit a wall, which is never the best thing to do. So we're going to continue on here. We've got a bit of a bump draft there from Shadow. I appreciate that, but Shadow didn't really have many places to go there. I was going to say we nearly rear-end the German, but we managed to slow it down just enough and just in time there as we continue on out of here. Shadow looking on the inside. Max Powers on the outside of Shadow as we advance a bit later on here. So this is the final lap. We're heading towards the ducks again. Ice Taylor's had an unfortunate turn number 1 there. So we do have a run on the Brit here as we head towards the ducks. They go towards the right side here. I look towards the right, but I miss time where the track opens up. So, unfortunately, I do not get on the inside of Ice Taylor. However, they do go for that very wide line, which I'm not a fan of, if I'm honest. And as you can see there, Ice Taylor does lose a position because of that line. And we continue on through here. Once again, gaining another place. The German into the barrier. Now, this right-hander, I said it earlier on, side-by-side here is never the best thing into this corner. So, I'll back out of that and need to fight another day here. I've got half a lap to try and get another position, so let's see what we can do. Now we're in the slipstream, so this is where you're gonna have to really sort of judge accordingly where you want to be. So I go for left into right, really allowing me to get on the inside of the German as we head towards this braking zone. Now up ahead, Ugandan's looking on the inside of Sparks-Fury. We're hard on the brakes and we get the car slowed. Uganda goes very deep there, going for the move on Sparks-Fury, who reclaims that position. We do get ahead of the German, and we're up into P5 right now as we continue on out of that corner and head to the S's for the final time. There's nowhere really for the German to go there. You can really make your car very wide there as we go into these final corners. I lift off and then dab the brakes a little bit here, just get the car rotated with that dirty air up ahead of Ugandan Commando. So through the left we go, and then the right there, fighting hard up ahead. Sparks Fury going very defensive for this final corner, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I've got a bit of an opportunity here then. So as I go through here, look at the run I've got right now, and I wanted to go towards the left, but there's no way I could have got on the inside there. It just narrowed a bit too much other than pit maneuvering Sparks Fury, and I really didn't want to do that. So you see the smile on my face because I thought it was all funny in the grand scheme of it. But a very good race. A very good race from myself. I did enjoy this race. I do think there's going to be quite a few crashes and some people will get frustrated with the walls. I did see that in the time trial as well on the comments. 6.5 out of 10 for that daily race, which is quite common for daily race B. I maybe need to review the system even more in terms of A and B, but we'll see how we go. Here is the lap guide. So you'll notice this is the exact same as the time trial guide, but without my commentary at the time. So it's +0 brake balance for this particular lap, and the wind is slightly different, but the brake markers are the same. So we have the highway markers and the 50 board. They are your brake markers for turn number 1. And when you do turn number 1, you drop to 4th gear, and then you will short shift to 5th gear. That is the quickest way to do turn 1. As I go into here, try and keep 120 miles an hour in your head. You can't maintain it through the corner, but that's what you're sort of aiming for if you want an apex speed there. Continue towards the docks then, and first up, we're on the left-hand side. You got had the wall indents. However, I use the 100 board or the start of the curb as my 2 markers. Now, they're way ahead, and I'm braking. So you're going, how are they your markers? It's a distance marker. Brake markers aren't always as you reach them. It's as you approach them as well. So I'm going to hit the brakes now before I get to these 2 markers. Drop to 2nd gear, and I'm going to cut the inside. Then I'm going to short shift to 3rd gear and start accelerating through this corner. Notice there how the car remains quite stable because of that short shift. If I was in 2nd gear, the car will be all over the place. Through the left we go. Avoid the barrier on the right-hand side. Short shift as well to 4th gear to really maximize the acceleration as we head towards this right-hander. Once again, we're using highway markers, and they're those white squares on the road. As I get to this one, I'm going to hit the brakes. I'm already in 4th gear. I want to stay in 4th gear for this corner. So I'm going to hit the brakes, chuck it in. I will let the car roll a little bit as well as I go through this corner. Notice it's rolling, rolling, rolling. When I'm happy that I can accelerate, I'm then going to hit the throttle. And now we can fast forward all the way to the hairpin because it's all flat out this moment in time. Now, when we get towards the hairpin, you got the 200 board, but we're looking for the 150 board and the pillar just after the 150 board. Now, I want to break in between these markers. Okay, now the reason for that is because the 150 board is too soon and the pillar is too late. I'll break in the middle of them. I should be spot on. And that is what I'm aiming to do here. And as you know, this is quite a good lap. So, yeah, let's do that now. We hit the brakes and we drop to second gear. We go to first, but you don't have to be in first. Second gear is all you need for that corner. We accelerate out of the corner. Be careful, power oversteer on the exit. That very much exists. The Supra use short shift as well. I didn't actually mention that, but you can see me doing that right now as I go to where the gear indicator is there with the red number or black number in the red box. So as I go to here, the 50 board there is your marker. Now, I lift off and let the car turn in. You can just stab the brakes a little bit to slow the car down, but then you want to just turn in that little bit later. If you just let the car roll into this corner initially, you should be fine. You're going to drop to fourth gear mid-corner as well, and that's what I'm going to do here. So fifth gear, down to fourth gear, I dab the brakes there, and then continue on, and then we're going to lift off and get as close to the wall, and then lift off, get as close to the wall as we can, keeping that 120 speed in our heads. And the 50 board is your final brake marker. Drop to third gear for this one. Once the car is turned in, then go to fourth gear for the exits, okay? Very tricky to get this right. So you're braking towards the wall. You're going to literally release brakes, third gear, turn in, and then accelerate. Let's see us do that now. So third gear, release brakes, turn in, up to fourth gear, and then accelerate out of the corner, avoiding that wall. Now we're going to head towards the line. Of course, it's a bit easier than the time trial because your lap isn't invalidated if you touch a wall, like the time trial where it definitely does. That's it for Daily Race B. We jump to Daily Race C, where we're at a combo we've only used once before now. And I actually really enjoy this track, believe it or not. So we're in Group 4, as you can see right there. And this is Grand Valley Highway in reverse. And we're doing 10 laps of this circuit. It's a rolling start, racing hard tyres. There's no strategy here. There's no need to pit. And you can adjust the brake balance in this car. So I chose the Genesis because I saw a lot of people using the Genesis. And it's quite a strong car here, to be honest with you. In terms of the key statistics, we've used this track once. The track and car combo once. So it's definitely not in the top 10. 15th of January was when we did use this track previously. In terms of issues, though, the track limits are just plain annoying at this circuit. It really should be track limits, not the white line. And some of these corners are very dangerous, honestly. You really have to be careful on some of these corners. Without further ado then, as you're seeing in the background, we're 3 wide at points. Let's jump into this race and let's have a look at all the action. Here we are then for the final race. Huggy started on pole position. And Huggy was one of the reasons I chose the Genesis G70 in this morning's time trial. And I set the leaderboard at lights. I went straight to the 57.9 basically before the very first race. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you are liking it and are subscribed to the channel. And then you'll be updated when this video comes out much sooner than if YouTube recommends it to you. Gonna head in towards turn number 1 then, and we do catch up to Shadow a little bit there, but we do lift off. Now this corner, so dangerous. There's a few of these corners that are dangerous around here. As we go into this left-hander, very easy to understeer there. Shadow's just gone to the right-hand side here, hard on the brakes going towards the chicane. You can see here, side by side, this was arguably probably one of the cleanest starts I ever expected here in towards the chicane. Now, did anybody notice anything there as I went through the chicane? Yes, I hit a bollard, so I get a 0.5 second penalty because I hit a bollard. It's very annoying because obviously you're side by side, but it is what it is. I get a 0.5 penalty. Now, because it's so soon towards the penalty line, I don't have to take it until the very next lap. So we are going to look on the inside of Uganda Commando in that Megane trophy. Although, I got very tight there as we go into the right-hander. Bahamas in the Alfa Romeo 4C. So we take a very wide line here. That was a bit of a mistake in my opinion. Max Power tried to get on the inside in the Atenza there as well. But look at this run on the exit. Because we took such a wide line, we're now 3 wide heading towards this right-hander. You saw that on TV camera earlier on as we go through here then. Shadow stays on the outside. Couldn't really make any moves there. Max Power on the left-hand side right now. We're going side by side. Bahamas then gets stuck there. And then we sort of had nowhere to go other than the back of Bahamas as we go into the right-hander, and it all settles down, and we're still in P14 then. So we're going to head towards this hairpin. This hairpin, again, very difficult. There's so many difficult corners on this layout. I prefer this layout towards the front way just because of how complex it is, but some of you will hate this layout. We've got Ferrari off on the left-hand side. We'll have a look at what happens in the bloopers for that one because they're now going very slow up the hill, so they are really compromised right now as we continue on up here. Bahamas, they're looking for a way past the Ferrari. I'm looking for a way past Bahamas. The slipstream is so powerful in Group 4 right now due to the lack of power in these cars. So if you do get the slipstream, happy days indeed. We're 3 wide into the final corner then. We do get on the inside of Bahamas as well, and we get a 2-for-1 deal there. Happy days indeed. And we are now up into P12. So into the tunnel for the second time then. We turn in. We're trying to do it flat out. We do have to lift a little bit there. Up ahead, there's somebody in the dust there. That doesn't mean someone's going to have dirty tyres. As we go into the left-hander then. Shadow's gone a bit deep then into the barrier. I've got nowhere to go. I managed to catch the car. And so does Mario Sonic here as we go into this chicane. I survive, but I get a 2-second penalty for I have no idea what. It wasn't my fault. I literally come through the corner. There's a car sideways on the circuit. I should not be given that penalty. You can see my reaction down in the left-hand side, but it is what it is, so I'm going to take that penalty now. 2.5 seconds. That is a brutal penalty. But I'll tell you now, somebody got an even more brutal action because of that incident, and we'll have a look at that one in the bloopers because I've been told about it. It's pretty insane. So as we go into this right-hander, Balm has just gone wide there on the right-hander, although there's a bit of contact with Adler there as well. So we're going to get a good run on the Alfa Romeo, and we're back up into P13 then. So we've effectively still gained a position here in the race, even though we're involved in that insane crash and had a 2.5-second penalty. So we're going to continue on up the hill now towards the final corner here, and this corner does matter if you can get on the inside. The Adler goes wide there. Notice there the server's having issues now. Because of that was my mistake. You'd see me put my hands up straight away. That's completely on me, way too deep. I just got a bit distracted by the server there, so I gave the position back to the Adler. We're back racing now because we're well into the next lap, so there's no issues with racing at this point. We're 3 wide once again with the Ferrari there on the right hand side. Do we get past is the question. A little bit of contact with the Ferrari, nothing major there. I was hoping I don't get a penalty. We'll see what happens here with the white line, and the Adler's just gone a bit deep there on the right hander. No penalty for me, fortunately, but as we continue on out here, I just have to be cautious off that Ferrari because he did get a run there, so I am going to have to defend a little bit here as we go into the right hander. We do slow it down very nicely, and we do get a little bit of contact there from behind. There's nothing major, it's just difference of cars there as we go through that corner. So we fast forward towards the end of the lap here on lap number 3. Been lots of action so far. This race is brilliant for racing action, and we're looking on the inside of the Adler. So after last time, I made sure I got the car stopped. I wasn't distracted as much by the server lagging. And as we go through here, clean on pass. Up into P11 we go then. And we've got a bit of a gap now to catch up to the cars up ahead. So as we continue into the tunnel, I was hoping the Adler wasn't going to go for it, and he decides not to. It's very dangerous to go for a move inside the tunnel there, and we're trying to maximise the speed. So we get towards the end of the lap on lap number 4. We have caught up to Ugandan Commando and the Shadow here then, and you can see the Red Hammer Trophy does struggle with top-end speed. The Genesis definitely doesn't struggle with top-end speed. That turbo helping out here, I think, as we head towards the final corner. Hard on the brakes then, and you can see that server lagging a little bit once again as we go through this left-hander, and we do gain another position there from Ugandan Commando. And fast forward in then, we got the fastest lap as well here. In towards the tunnel we go. I just go a bit wide there as we enter the tunnel, but I do manage to maintain some form of speed. Shadow there just off the circuit. I'm pretty sure that's a penalty. There it is then, 0.5 second penalty. 4 wheels over that white line as we go hard on the brakes, and I nearly rear-end Shadow there because I got a little bit distracted again as we go through the right and then into this long left-hander. This tunnel is very interesting, very hard to get right, this tunnel, as we continue on through, because you really have to delay the throttle there, and Ugandan Commando actually gets it wrong. So, you know, timing and a half, wasn't it? I completely forgot about that as well. So Shadow there takes penalty. Norman with a big penalty there, so we get another 2 positions. We're up into P8 right now as we go into this left-hander. Now, at the time of this race, I did have the world record at the time. Obviously, people go on and then beat it, and then the times improve as people get used to this circuit. And I went on back on after this as well and improved a bit more, so I really got the knowledge, and that's the lap that I'm going to show you a little bit later on then. So we're going to head down here. We've just got up to easy spin here as we get on the inside of the French driver as we go through here. Very close racing as we're heading towards the left, and we're going to try around the outside. So they have to give me some space on the outside. They do that. They give me plenty of space. In fact, I actually get a position quite easily there, so I appreciate the space, and I do get the position. They actually lost 2 positions in that move. So lap number 6 then, we're into the same sort of area of the circuit we were in before, and look at its action. Then we've got Constant in a Viper. Look at that. Very interesting in the Viper. We've got the SCR22K up ahead. Mario Sonic, unfortunately, got into the back of them. Shadow's very close now again behind us. We continue on through here. We're going to head up towards the hairpin, which, as I say, is very dangerous here. So I want to get on the inside here just to be safe. And Mario Sonic's going a bit deep then. We're going to accelerate out of this corner. We do get that position, and we're up into P6 right now. We are making moves in this race. Remember, we had a 2.5 second penalty earlier on in this race, and we're now back in the top 6. To never give up in this scenario. There's always a chance that something can happen in the race. Shadow looking on the left-hand side here, but not going to have to slipstream here. So I should get the advantage once again, and then I can defend going into this left-hander. Yes, indeed. Here we go. So I sort of defend the inside there. Now, the brick goes wide up ahead, so we take the inside line. The server does a bit of a wiggle, and then, unfortunately, there's contact there. We're going to have a look at that one in the bloopers. At the time, I didn't feel it was my fault. Looking at the editing now, it looks more my fault, potentially. But I say we'll have a look at the bloopers just to confirm. And the Italian there with a penalty. So we are now up into P4. Now, the leaders, Sparks and Huggy, have absolutely bolted here. So at this point in time, I worked together with Consta for a little while, okay? And the reason for that is because if we can catch up to them and gain, that's what we want to do. Now, at this point in time, I'm about to start the penultimate lap, so we're not going to catch 7 seconds, so it's time to have some fun. So I decided to go for a move where I said, don't go for a move here. And this is the reason why. So as we go into here, then you really have to slow the car down. And there's a small bit of contact, nothing major there, but I believe the game recognizes there was a tiny bit of a rub, and it doesn't give Constant a penalty, which is good to see. And we can carry on racing. So hard to go side by side through there. The fact there's no crash is just brilliant racing all the same as we head into this left-hander. Now, you're going to have a fantastic lap and a half of racing right now, folks. So I hope you'll sat back with a drink and make sure you enjoy this one then. So it's Consta versus me versus Shadow behind then. So it's 2 Genesis versus a Viper as we head towards this left-hander. Now, just stay behind with Consta for now. Consta goes a little bit deep then, so I get on that inside line. This is the perfect line to take then as we continue on through here. It's going to give us a nice line for this right-hander. Can we get on the inside of Consta? It's a question. No, we can't. We can't do anything. Shadow, in fact, going for the move then as we continue on out of here. And I've got the slipstream, fortunately, so I can then defend that move here. Looking on the inside of Consta then. I wasn't actually going to go for the move here. Just wanted to, calm the situation down, get prepared for another move going forward. So as we continue on through here, what we are going to do is advance later on in the lap then. We're going up the hill right now. The Genesis does have so much power up this hill. The Viper of Consta goes towards that left-hand side then. We're on the right-hand side now of the Olympian as we head up towards the final corner. Look at the difference in speed here. It's insane. We're going to go hard on the brakes. I'm going to give some space on the inside, to Consta there. So I'm not going to turn it in fully as we continue on through here, side by side then, as we go onto the start-finish straight. And we are going to start the final lap right now. Here we go then. It's a 3-way fight for this final podium finish. Can we do it? That is the question. So Consta's going towards the inside. I pulled it on Consta. Consta's going to go for it on me. Here we go. In towards the tunnel. I just let off. I'm really trying to give Consta plenty of space on the inside. I do. Consta gives me plenty of space on the exit. Look at this side-by-side action. We continue towards the left-hander. Still side-by-side. This is so hard to do, I might add as well. This is unbelievable stuff. Consta defends it then on that inside. What a beautiful defensive move. Shadow getting involved now. Trying around the outside as we head towards the left-hander. I've got to give room to Shadow on that inside line. Are we going to get the position is the question. Beautiful racing there with Shadow. Tiny clip of the wall and giving Shadow a bit of an advantage. We're in the slipstream though as we head towards the next left-hander. Beautiful race. I can't believe we went side-by-side for so long there. And now we've got more side-by-side action with Shadows. We go into this left-hander. Very hard to go side-by-side here. I get an awesome line there. To say we're side-by-side, I just nailed that line. I really did like that. As we go through the right though, a little bit deep there from me, but Shadow's on the left-hand side, so I don't believe there's any contact there as we continue on out. Shadow's got the advantage right now. We're still on the inside here. Can we send it is the question. We do send it a little bit. Still on the inside of Shadows. We're going to the left-hander. We're on the outside now, which is the better line to have here. As we go into the fast left, we're still side-by-side. In towards the right we go. And Shadow's got a 0.5 second penalty, which I did not see at the time. I only knew that at the very end. That Shadow got that from leaving space. And that's the frustrating part about the track limits on this circuit. It should be the track, not the white lines, in my opinion, because that will give better racing. It's more visual and people can give more space there. But even so, we come out of that corner. We're in P4 right now. Shadow can still go for the move here if he wants to. I go for a defensive line because I didn't know Shadow had a penalty at the time. Obviously, during editing, I did notice the penalty. And Sparks Fury's gone in the pits for some unknown reason. I have no idea why Sparks has gone in the pits. We're going to head towards the line though here, and we are going to cross the line in P4. But Sparks Fury has a 4-second penalty, so we actually go up to P3. We finished on the podium. Happy days indeed here then, and I'm actually really happy with that race. I enjoy that race. It is going to be complete carnage though, so some of you will have a good time this week. Some of you will have an atrocious time this week. In terms of scores then, 6.5 out of 10 is what I've given this daily race C, and all the details are down below. Without further ado then, let me go into a track guide because I was straight into this then. So +3 brake balance, you can see that on the right hand side. As we head towards turn number 1, we go into the tunnel right now. And what we're looking for is that 100 board right there. So this is our turning marker. As we pass that, we turn in. Now, you may want to turn in early, but if you turn in early, you're going to understeer off the exit. You really have to turn in late for this one and allow the weight shift to really get the car turned in. So that's what we're going to do right now. You can see where it is on chase cam. We turn in. Now, I lift off a little bit. You don't have to. You can do this flat. We continue on through here. We accelerate through the right hander using all the circuit. Then over towards the left. A later turn in again there as we head onto the straight bit here. Now, you want to brake between the 400 and the 300. You can see that I carried a lot of speed, so I'm trying to brake before the 300. If you don't carry enough speed, brake at the 300. But we're going to hit the brakes now. Hard braking in a straight line now. And as we get to second gear, I'm going to start to release the brakes and try and get the car turned into the chicane, okay? So we drop to second gear, start to release the brakes, clip the curb, and then we're going to get over to the right hand side where I've just hit the brakes again. Now, as we go into this tunnel, I've got to third gear. I'm still debating second or third gear as we enter this tunnel. But on the right side, we've got the end of the windows of the tunnel here. That's your brake marker. We're going to go to second gear here, and we want the car to do its own thing here. We don't want to really react with the car too much. Let the car turn in, because otherwise you're just going to keep waiting and get someone to stay on the exit. If you let the car do its own thing, it'll just turn. And as we get towards the windows again of the tunnel, you can see that right there, or the gaps in the tunnel. This is our accelerating marker. Now, the earlier you do this, so if it hits the edge of your screen, accelerate, you'll be fine. If the earlier you do this, as I've done it earlier than that, the more chance of understeering off into the barrier. You're going to see how close we get there to the exit. So just be careful of that. You will suffer some understeer. You really have to delay that throttle application. So just keep that in mind when you are doing these laps. We're going to head towards the next corner then. And what you're looking for here is the bridge on the right side. It's got gaps in it, and then it hardens up there right at the very end. It's just before the 100 board. Stay in fourth gear. And as you get to this point, hit the brakes. But don't hit the brakes fully. Just make sure you're turning towards the corner a little bit, and you want to trail brake a lot of this corner, okay? So I hit the brakes fully a little bit there, but notice I'm trying to trail brake. I'm trying to maintain an inside line. This is the line you want. If you go wide at any point in that corner, you're going to cost yourself so much time, because this right-hander is the more important corner. So the marshals on the left-hand side are your brake markers. You're going to hit the brakes, and you're going to want the car to roll a little bit. You might want to just stay on the brakes a little bit more to see if the car will rotate a little bit. That's entirely your choice. So you notice that I'm letting the car roll, and when I see those marshals right there is when I want to accelerate. So when I can start to see them, you'll notice I instantly went on the throttle, then lifted a bit, and then went fully on the throttle again right now. Those marshals, really good accelerating marker. So if you see them, start to accelerate. The Genesis should pull itself around. Absolutely not a problem. So we're going to continue on through here. There's a bit of a runoff there on the exit that you can use, but it does narrow. What we're going to do next is we're going to look between a 200 and 100 board, because as you notice there, the cliff comes down a bit where there's greenery there. Really good brake marker. Now, you've got the 100 board as well, but you have to brake before you get to that 100 board. And we're going to drop to second gear here. Very easy for the car to oversteer here as well, because you want to instantly start turning right. Just be careful that if you brake in a straight line and then turn into this corner, you will be absolutely fine. And that's what I do right now. Notice I turn in and then instantly accelerate. Now, you can do this corner flat out. I lifted a little bit there, didn't need to. Third gear. And then I'm going to go to this corner. I'm going to lift a little bit. And then I want to turn before that barrier gets to the edge of my screen. Now, I don't actually use that on this particular lap, but now I've edited it, I will always use that right now, because I really want to turn in early. It stops the car going too wide on this corner. You can carry so much speed, because you chuck it in, it'll understeer a little bit, and then it'll grip. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I do hit the brakes there, but again, notice there how the car instantly grips, and you can continue on through the right hander. It's cambered as well, which is why the car grips. As we go here then, so we've got Armco into sort of a bricked wall area there on the right side. That is your brake marker. You can use a 100 board if you want to. And now for this corner, you've got two lines. You can go for a really tight line, but you'll have a compromised exit. You can go for a wide line, but you really have to make sure you hit the apex when you go for a wide line. So notice how I bring this car back. Wait until I clip the the apex, and then I accelerate, and I will make the exit absolutely fine. I'm getting my words muddled up now. But it's really critical to get that right. Don't accelerate too early on that last corner, because otherwise the car will lift up and you'll just understeer off. This final corner then, the 100 board, you brake just before that. You want to aim towards the corner. Notice how I'm aiming towards the corner right now. I'm not braking in a straight line technically. I'm aiming towards the corner, but braking in a straight line that way, because I want to slow the car down, get it turned, and just bolt out this corner. So I drop second gear, and what I'm looking for on the inside is the concrete going to sand. When I get to that point, I go up to third gear, and I just hit the throttle, and I will make it around this corner. Not a problem. So that is exactly what I'm doing right now. I got all excited with this lap because I enjoyed this lap. I actually enjoy this track. I think it's amazing. It's got some really complex corners, and it sort of suits my driving style very nicely. You know, I can use some of the environment there to my advantage as well. This is a 57.2, I think. It's definitely 56s in there. I can definitely see that. But that is it in terms of a lap guide. Let's go to the bloopers then. So first up, we're on board the Hungarian right now, racing the Italian on the left-hand side. So we're going to go into the braking zone here at the docks, and they just outbrake themselves here. They've got nowhere to go, and unfortunately, there is a victim there in the Porsche. But in a fantastic sportsmanship, or a show of sportsmanship there, waits up for them. Gets 5-second penalty, but they wait up there. Beautiful sportsmanship. I love showing that sort of stuff. The Italian here then, we're going to go into the docks again there. And you notice the car just appeared on the bottom of the screen there, but they didn't actually touch, I don't believe. And unfortunately, the Italian then has gone off the circuit. So Ugandan Commando was the person, but notice here, you don't see the car suddenly go ahead there. It's as they hit the brakes, the Italian sort of waited on the brakes maybe. Maybe it was a server lag, because we had server lag there, but I don't see that being Ugandan's fault there, in my opinion. We're on board Easy Spin here, the French driver. So as we head in towards this left-hander then, as we go into here, we're going to go through this corner. The French driver in the Ferrari appears from nowhere. Easy Spin's going to react to that. I don't like seeing this at all because it was clearly a mistake. The way you do that corner, if you take a wide line, you are going to have people come on the inside. So it's not the best thing to see, in my opinion. Through to the left we go then. So this is the big crash that we saw. You can see cars up ahead in the distance. So we've got a couple of cars with dirty tyres right now as we go into this left-hander. They have to lift. And all three of them actually go off the circuit. Then I hit Shadow there. I know where to go quite clearly. I managed to get the car stopped there. The mate, though, is the one who suffered the most. Watch this, then. So as we go into this left-hander, they've got nowhere to go. They're trying to slow the car down. They clip the barrier, and then, unfortunately, crash with Barrier-Sonic. So they look to slow the car down, right? They managed to get the car stopped, and then they're just going to come back on the circuit nice and easy, and they get a massive reset. Look at that for a reset back. Unbelievable. Right, max power then. Here in the tunnel we go. This is turn number 1. So as we go into here, they let Bahamas go on the inside. Bahamas, unfortunately, just understeers a bit off and then, crashes with max power. It's an unfortunate racing incident, and they both go straight into the portal, which is in a... I mean, if there's no barrier there, that's flying off the cliff right now. Now, here's the move on Speedy then. So, as I go into here, in my opinion, I'm on the left. I'm absolutely fine being there. And then I think Speedy just comes across my nose a little bit there. I think that's fine, in my opinion. I don't think that's my fault. And it's not intentional by Speedy either. I think that's just the server having a play in there as well. But I don't think that's my issue at all. So, we've got Easy Spin here and Adler there. And Speedy was just taking a penalty on the outside then. So they come through here. Adler and Speedy just come together a little bit. And then as we go through this right-hander, I'm not sure what happens there with Speedy and Adler. But Easy Spin then takes it out on Speedy. And then Easy Spin's actually going to wait up for Adler because they were having a fantastic fight. And I did watch that. So that's the reason why Easy Spin did that. But as we go into here, it's just the smallest of clashes. Nothing major. This is going to happen when the car's on the inside there as well. As we go through this right, I mean... I don't know. Is it on purpose? I can't tell. Easy Spin, I know why you did that as well. But that's going to be it for this video, folks. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content. Do check out my partners down below, including GT Amiga, where you can use code Tidgney at checkout. I do have an interesting video coming on Fanatec. We've got a new product. We'll check it out soon. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in another video live stream again very soon.